Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is great, that's all you need to know. But I might as well elaborate for social convention. Now I'm sure every nerd as a child wondered who would win in a fight between Mario and Charizard, Kirby and Bowser, and maybe even Mega Man and Ryu. Well, this is the game that answers all those questions and any more permutations that you may come up with. Super Smash Bros. Is back, and it's the most impressive roster of any fighting game that I have ever seen. It's fast paced, it's visually stunning, it's a super nostalgia trip, and it's a great reason to invite friends round to play games the way they were meant to be played, sat on a sofa all together, trying to mess with each other's controllers so they fumble and you can take advantage. What impressed me most about this edition of Smash was that they included an impressively sized single player called the World of Light. Starting as Kirby, you have to meander through a map unlocking fighters by taking them down in successive matches to save them and add them to your personal roster. At over 70 unlockable characters, this can seem like a daunting task at first, but it makes your complete list of characters feel worthwhile. Even the smaller side characters that you may never have heard of, you get a sense of accomplishment after you unlock them. It's a huge nostalgia adventure that is partial fighting game and partial puzzler. The overall aim is to generally collect a team of fighters that can deal with an array of situations, which will vary from changes to the fighters themselves, or even alternative environments or environmental hazards in the arenas that you fight in. This game also has an impressive list of arenas, some of which are older remastered versions of previous games, and some are even new ones, although the new arenas are not as memorable as the ones in the previous games, but it is great to see a collection of every arena that we've had so far. Something I did find a little bit tacked on, however, was the spirit system in the single player. These are similar to the stickers that you would get in previous Smash games, and they can alter your characters by attaching buffs to your chosen fighter. These may make you immune to certain attacks or environmental hazards, for example, but this system seemed unnecessarily complicated, and the game really never explains it well to you. Fortunately, what makes this game so fun is the fast-paced and responsive combat. It's fluid, controlled, and at times insane. Each character is very easy to start using, but you will learn more and more each time you play as them. Characters like Mario and Kirby, for example, are great for beginners, and boast a simple yet effective fighting style with combos that deal decent damage, while characters such as Pikachu and Pac-Man may be harder to play as initially, but given time and patience they may become the deadliest additions to your team yet. In addition to the basic fighting styles, you now have deadly unique final smash moves which you can unleash on your rivals once you build up enough power, or if you collect a Super Smash Ball that appears on the stage somewhere. These are similar to the cinematic ultimate moves in Street Fighter V or Injustice 2 for example, and they are a marvel to see when you will finally initiate them. Each has their own proximity if you wish to connect them, so practice with each character to make sure that you don't miss. All these mechanics lend towards a very tactical and complicated fighting style. If you're good at it, it can reward you, but don't worry, there is plenty of space for button mashers here as well. Adding to this experience is the impressive visuals. This is by far the best looking Smash game to date, and it's well above the standards that we expect in 2018. It's crisp, it's colourful, and it's a joy to watch your favourite Nintendo characters, and other characters as well, fly around the screen beating the living hell out of each other. Also, the sounds in the background are also part of the experience, and yet again it is something that is done really well here. From the smooth sounds of your movement, to the deep sounds of the impact from very hard punches, it all sounds wonderful, as well as the melodic track in the background of all stages, which, of course, will be adding to the nostalgia if you know your characters well. After you have mastered single player, it's time to get your friends round for some local multiplayer. For exactly the same reasons that I've mentioned, this is by far the best way and the way that you should be playing the game. It's insanely fun, and you will want to play it for hours. The amount of fighters in the arenas that you can play will give you hours and hours of content and fun with friends. Playing with friends is fast, fun, and fantastic. I would highly recommend you play it in this way. Once your friends have gone home, however, it's time to boot up the online multiplayer, which I found to be the weakest part of this game, unfortunately. The connections between players can seem very fragmented at times, and I would lose connection altogether. It is easy enough, however, to become competitive with online players. Not everyone out there is a legend at fighting games, and I generally had the best time online with being competitive. Usually I am terribly outmatched by players, but online here I didn't find it like that. But overall the experience online is just too unstable. This may be due to Nintendo Online not being great, but I only gave online a few hours before switching back to single player, and I probably won't go back on. If you have the choice, playing between online with friends at home, definitely play at home with friends. It's a much better experience. So, With a roster that's this huge, a massive arena list, and an enormous amount of content, this game certainly earns the ultimate that's in its title. I really believe that this is a great addition to the Smash franchise and probably the best fighting game I've played in quite a long time. It's easy to pick up by anybody, but can also result in complex battles between worthy adversaries. If it wasn't for the disappointing online multiplayer and the strange spirit system in the single player, I probably would have given it a higher score, but it's a solid 8 out of 10. Really great game that will only get better as new fighters and new stages are added in the future. Anyway, thank you for checking out my review of this game, and if you want notifications on future videos, you can subscribe, and a like on my video always makes me smile. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.